And disciplining them.
No,
I'm trying to
I
understand.
said saying like, it may be mean, but it's real. So for example, one of my students, he just didn't do his work at all. And I said, if you continue this laziness when you get outside, you're not gonna have any money, you're not gonna have anything, you're not gonna have anything.
Right. If your parents don't go to work,
I said,
they
you
don't
are
get
going to be a
paid.
bum on the streets. If you act like a bum in my class, you will be a bum out on the streets. And I had to break it down to him because he just was not, it just wasn't clicking in his head. And then when I said that, he took back, like, it clicked.
Did he start to do
He
better?
started to do his work, and I started to see it change. It clicked. I don't know what
So
clicked.
you knew for that student,
For that student,
kind of taught,
Yeah,
that
I pulled him
kind of jolted
aside
him
and
back.
I broke it down. Like,
Okay.
look, if you need to understand the type of environment you're about to go into, because he's 18, he's a senior, you need to get it together. Yes, he needed to get it together. So I had to really turn the lights on.
Next year this time, you won't be here.
Yeah. So like,
Here next year this time.
nobody's done a big
Yeah.
It's not
Oh my
here.
God.
So you have to learn these skills now and get them quick, you know.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the
Yeah,
last
we do.
segment of our PD today. Just a little bit of talk about Generation Z. And if you're from like Generation X, which is what I am, or maybe a millennial for some of you, we look at, or they could say in baby boomers there, I was right on the cusp, I missed the baby boomer by a couple of years, but I'm Generation X, so we look at Generation Z all the time like they're from Mars or somewhere, and most of the parents of Generation Z are baby boomers or Generation Xers, so it's kind of hard. I think millennials maybe can relate a little bit better, but like I said, the Generation X baby boomers were like, okay. Things that they're influenced by that we should understand, they're influenced by ISIS. Terrorism is big for them. Sandy Hook, the mass shootings that happen every day, marital equality and how social beliefs have changed. The first African American president, they don't do well with long lectures. Why do you think that is, of course?
Attention span.
Short attention span. They're going to lose
Look,
that.
as
It's
far
so
as a
different.
stand-up lecture, I teach at a university to John Tyler and TNCC, and I was told this a long time ago.
I thought you looked familiar.
Yeah, and the attention span is half their age. You got that much time to get that information out to them and move on. Okay?
Really, really.
And that's usually it. And adult learners, they want to know, why am I doing this? What's the payoff?
Right, they have to be that extrinsic
Yeah.
motivation. They reach for a smart device every 7 minutes. On average, they are more distracted than previous generations. They spent their adolescence with smartphones. They got it in their hands around 8 or 9. I've got my 9-year-old is pushing me for one, and I stand my ground. Not until high school.
And that is killing them.
Right, that's what they come and tell me. My grandparents want, well, that'll be okay. Their mama chooses that route. I'm not going to choose that route. They are extrinsically motivated and less internally motivated. So they want to know, what do I get out of this? Like if you say we're going to do the do now, are you grading it today? You know, it's not for the sake of learning. It's everything for them is about what is the, and this information was taken from 4 Simple Tactics, an article about Generation Z. So just some other things. If you look at this picture, it kind of sums it up.
Let's do this.
Although,
Being programmed right at that age.
and he's probably about to get on Facebook and have a profile and everything, but keep in mind that although we want to kind of summarize and make a lump assumption, we do want to remember that generations are a lens through which to understand societal change. They're reacting to the society that's been put upon them. When they get a cell phone at 8 or 9, with access to everything that happens in the world at the touch of their hands, they're going to be different. They're going to be changed from us. There are things that they're seeing I never even would have thought about until I was 25, maybe even 30. I don't know, but you know, it has changed. It's changed who they are. So we have to understand that as we relate to them. So we're just going to do some descriptors. If you believe that the statement applies to Generation Z students as far as instruction, we want you to hold up the green circle. If you believe it does not apply, hold up your red octagon. If you're not certain, hold up your yellow triangle. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you some questions. We're going to ask some questions, okay.
You ready? There you go. Expect. You guys
Okay,
ready?
so everybody have their
All right, the cards ready to go. Okay, we'll make this one quick.
Raise signs. They're gonna ask.
Number one, expect a teacher to be accessible 24 hours a day.
Yes, that is true. Okay, and why is that? Because they're used to very quick response.
Oh my goodness.
They will email you at midnight.
Right now.
Okay, so listen, is this true or false? Show me with your card. Do they prefer large blocks of text and lengthy readings? Definitely not.
They want the cliff notes, right? Just tell me what I mean.
Okay, here comes the next one.
Have a lot of free time.
Okay, that one's a tricky one. The answer to that is actually no. They are busier than previous generations, and if you look at them, their plates are piled so high. They're stressed, they're sleepy, they're tired. I've never seen young kids engage in 8 million activities. They're working. My mother never allowed me to work during the school year. These kids work, some of them work at Wendy's till midnight. Like they'll work till midnight. Like what in the world? It's like school should work.
Example, I was just talking to the band teacher today. He's supposed to take band to be in the band. So he had a few walk-ons for some reason. I don't know why. He's doing away with that, yeah. Young lady's taking solo, which is theater at another school that they go bus to, doing, let's see, what was it, lacrosse, and actually playing soccer.
Yikes.
And can't make the band practices.
Because she's doing too much.
It's too much
She's
stuff.
doing too much.
Yeah, all of that.
Okay, what about this
So-
one? What do you think? Yes, no, or maybe?
Okay, like collecting data and facts. Oh, well, that's.
Facts about what?
Like collecting data.
Okay, for them, it's only true if, not typically, they need connection and relevancy. They need to see what it connects to, otherwise they're not interested in learning. And remember, we were talking about making things relevant. Okay, what about this one?
Hey, like frequent feedback. Constant feedback.
Immediate feedback, everybody got that? Okay, and we kind of talked about this. They work well for long-range incentives. They work well for long-range incentives. That's a no. They want quick feedback. They want it immediate from that whole cell phone.
Okay. Are self-directed.
Okay, so only if it is extrinsic. If they get a reward from it, they'll work for it. If it's something that just for the work, for the ethic of working, no, they don't see the.
If it's not in the grade book, they won't do it.
Absolutely. I gave an assignment on a CAD program. So we do this.
I told them, don't ask me.
Are we going to use
Don't
these?
ask
We use
me.
everything in here. We're not done till June. So go to the next
Use
one.
everything in here.
We need to write this down.
Okay, I know what to say. Okay, so what about this
Let's
one?
see. Are more socially responsible than millennials? Are they more socially responsible than millennials?
Well, actually, according to the data, they are so marked by social events because they're on their smart devices. They're hearing about things that happen all around the world. You notice they will they cling to a cause really, really quickly. They are actually more into social things and speaking up for themselves and protesting and all that sort of thing. So they kind of, I guess it's because of the things that they've seen and that they've witnessed. It makes them a little bit more keen on that. So they believe that their parents are the most significant influence on their values.
Really? I'm surprised.
Well, most teenagers don't, that's kind of normal, that you would be moving towards your peers, but I'm gonna say I don't know, because they could be different.
Okay, well, what's
I don't
the
think
data?
that
The data
they-
says, the
I don't
data
think the
says,
kids think it. I think
the
it
data
is.
says
I think
yes,
their parents
89% according to the study by Global Young People report.
So 89%. So they
89%
are
say yes,
influenced
they're
by
influenced by their
their parents. Whether you know how we say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and sometimes when we see the tree, we understand the apple completely.
Look at the dress code violation, see the parent gonna pick up.
Oh, okay, now we know why. They thought this was typical wear for a professional environment. Okay, let me keep going. Okay, we'll do
Miss
the
Anthony's out
last
there,
one.
you
Last
gotta handle
one.
that, I don't know what to do with that.
They have lowered innocence and are confronted with the realities that used to belong to the
Can
adult
we raise
world.
this higher?
Yes, okay, and why is that, of course,
Yeah.
Yes, due to the digital age.
due to the digital age. So, they are different from us. Right, they know so much more than we ever knew, but it impacts how we
Do
have how we
not
teach.
look at a student's cell phone. That don't do that.
Your eyes will
That
burn, they'll
is
turn
not.
to dust.
Hey, you know, we're bound by the law to do something.
Right,
Okay?
right.
Don't look at it.
Don't look at it. But this
Don't put it up. You
impacts
shouldn't
us.
have it up anyway.
And
This
Don't
impacts
have it
our
anyway.
teaching. We know that they want to work in groups. Yes.
No, no, finish.
Oh, we know that they want to work in groups. They want immediate feedback that motivates them to keep going. They want to be motivated by an outside factor. So just saying do it for the cause of doing it is not going to work with them in the classroom. We can get them to come on board if we keep these things in mind, and that will reduce some of the conflict and insubordination. Yes.
In terms of their exposure to these things, I'm concerned about some of the data that we're taking on this generation, because I think that we might have to be super careful about how we're taking it. One thing that bothers me, so sure, you can go read all of the trashy media sites that you want to, learn about how many people have died in gruesome ways all over the world, constantly, all the time, look at nothing but pornography, death, flames, fire, destruction. And you can say that that's exposing you to these things, right? But in actuality, I don't see any reflection about what these various things actually mean. I don't see a lot of their reflecting on what causes these events, what these events say about humanity or about anything else. It's just literally just flashing disturbing images up in front of you
Changing their
constantly,
psyche.
right? There's a difference between a thoughtful movie that has something scary or disturbing going on and The Nun. Right, so I think, one is superficial trash, and the other one is meaningful. And I think that skill is not there, and that is actually something that we as educators need to do, is to create some sort of meaningful reflection about this. I don't necessarily buy it when I hear people say that it makes them deeper or something about what's going on in the social issues in the world, because I honestly don't think they really understand what they're seeing.
I don't think they understand it. I think it makes them quick for some reason, according to the data, and just reading what's out there. And data's perspective, who took it and for what purpose, who sponsored it. But from what I've witnessed, I know that. Have you ever noticed, like, if you're saying something to a child, like you're saying, such and such you should be doing whatever, another child quickly interjects to almost be their defense attorney.
Yes.
And that's
Oh,
that
yes.
sort of socially conscious student that, they're looking at what's going on to somebody else and they're quickly trying to take their defense. I'll say to them, nobody's paying you to be a defense attorney. Go mind yours while I mind mine, please. They'll go sit down.
After school clubs,
But,
tutorials,
I think
and
that would be the
activities
kind
have
of way
ended
that I
for
would, the
today.
only way
Again,
that I
all
would connect
after
with
school
what they're
clubs,
saying.
tutorials, and
I do feel
activities
they're a
have
little bit
ended
more
for today.
socially.
Teachers, please remember to give your
We're
students a
almost
bus
done.
pass
We're
so
gonna
they can get on the bus.
Our generation,
Blue
I'm
lights
not
to
gonna
eat, please
say
at the
words much. I
cafeteria.
don't think
Otherwise,
generations
head to the budget.
Okay, we're almost done. We're not gonna stay here all day.
Yeah, we're gonna be finishing.
Okay,
up
so,
here.
we wanted you to watch this video. This is a really neat, video. While we're making assumptions about, generation, Z.
Good, the right link in.
Yeah. So notice the Generation Z-er. What is he doing? And how is this?
It's going all the time.
This was morning. What does he do? Oh, big.
That was a plot twist.
Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Hang the shining star upon the highest bough. And have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
I don't like
Okay, so.
this is ridiculous.
So, don't make an assumption, what else?
Right, we want to say, don't make an assumption.
But who paid for that ad?
Exactly, that's science.
But although we wanna look at, who paid for the ad, but we also wanna remember that with Generation, Z, we don't wanna make a large assumption and assume that they're all one way or the other. You never know, but like in this case, they assumed the child was doing what he always does, being unengaged on the cell phone. And he was actually thinking of the better good and doing something that would benefit everybody. Okay, so we're just gonna wrap this up. We wanna remind you, collaboration, make things relevant, instructional delivery.
Student involvement, understanding your students, knowing them.
And this will help you, hopefully, to not go home with a headache at the end of the day that are ready to strangle somebody's child. Hopefully in your classroom that you will be able to foster, discipline that makes them want to work for you, that makes them want to please you. And it's a
And in the end,
can be a
it's all
difficult
about
thing
building
to do.
relationships with them.
Building
You know,
relationships.
positive relationships.
All right, does anybody have anything they wanted to say for the good of the cause? All right, thank you. Oh, yes.
Can I just say, new teachers, do any of you need the latest, or anybody really, the latest phone list? She keeps updating it so many times a month, but I can print you a copy right now.
That would be great.
We're gonna give you an exit survey. I'm not gonna give it to you right now. I'll place it in your boxes. Tomorrow.